A change of heart. Characters. Dr. Erica Dawson. A successful but overworked cardiologist who has just been diagnosed with acute heart failure and is forced to return home for recovery. Samantha Blake. A free-spirited painter struggling to find her artistic voice, living in the guest house of Erica's family home. Martha Dawson. Erica's warm and caring mother, who took in Samantha during Erica's absence. Story. Dr. Erica Dawson had spent the last decade building a perfect life in the city. Top cardiologist at a prestigious hospital, a chic high-rise apartment, and the recent birth of her daughter, Ava. But that life came crashing down when Erica collapsed in the middle of a surgery, struck by the very ailment she'd spent her career fighting: heart failure. Forced to face her mortality, Erica reluctantly agreed to move back to her childhood home in the peaceful countryside to recover. There, her mother, Martha, could help care for her baby. It felt like giving up everything she'd worked for, and Erica wasn't ready to admit that she needed help. To soften the blow, she arranged to stay in the guest house rather than her old bedroom, where everything would remind her of how far she'd fallen. But when she arrived, she found the guest house already occupied by a stranger. Samantha Blake was barefoot on the porch, sipping tea and sketching in a battered notebook when Erica stormed up the path. Her long, messy curls bounced in the evening breeze, and her hands were stained with paint. She looked as though she belonged in a completely different universe from Erica's structured, polished world. "What are you doing in my house?" Erica demanded. Samantha looked up, startled, tea sloshing over her lap. "Your house." She laughed lightly, although her smile wavered. "This is the guest house. Martha said I could stay here." "My mother said you could stay here?" Samantha wiped her hands on her paint-splattered jeans, trying to compose herself. "She did. I've been living here for almost a year now." Erica blinked, stunned. It wasn't just that Samantha was here, but that she seemed so at ease, as if she belonged. "Well, that's about to change. I'm moving in." I'm sorry," Samantha stammered, "but I'm not leaving." They stood in awkward silence for a beat. Erica's chest tightened, not from anger, but from the exhaustion her heart failure brought on. Her vision blurred, and she swayed on her feet. "Whoa, are you okay?" Samantha rushed forward, catching Erica's arm before she collapsed. "I don't need your help," Erica hissed, shaking off Samantha's hand. "Yeah, well, it looks like you do." Over the next few days, the tension between the two women was palpable. Erica resented the vibrant, artistic energy that Samantha brought to the guest house, a place she had envisioned as her quiet sanctuary. Samantha, on the other hand, couldn't understand how someone could be so closed off, especially given the obvious strain Erica was under. But as they spent more time together, Erica found herself intrigued by Samantha's carefree attitude. Samantha's laughter seemed to float through the house, a stark contrast to the sterile clinical world Erica was used to. And despite Erica's best efforts to maintain distance, she couldn't help but be drawn into Samantha's world. It started small: a shared cup of tea on the porch, an unexpected conversation about art and healing. Samantha convinced Erica to try Tai Chi in the mornings, insisting that it would help her recovery. Erica was reluctant at first, but as her body began to respond to the gentle movements, she found herself looking forward to those quiet moments of peace. One evening, after a long day of baby care and doctor's appointments, Erica returned to the guest house to find Samantha setting up her easel by the fire. "You should try painting sometime," Samantha teased, eyes twinkling. "It's good for the soul." Erica scoffed, but there was a hint of amusement in her voice. "I think I'll stick to saving lives, thanks." Samantha shrugged, grinning. "Suit yourself. But if you ever want a break from being a superhero, you know where to find me." Gradually, the walls between them began to crumble. Erica let her guard down just enough to admit that maybe, just maybe, she didn't have all the answers. And Samantha, in turn, became less of an enigma and more of a comfort. Someone who wasn't afraid to challenge Erica's view of the world, but also wasn't trying to fix her. Their connection deepened after an unexpected massage session, something Samantha insisted would help Erica's tension. It was meant to be simple, but the moment Samantha's hands touched Erica's skin, there was an undeniable spark between them. The massage quickly turned into something more, a blur of lips and hands in desperate, aching need. They fell into each other with an intensity neither of them had expected, but it wasn't just about physical attraction. For the first time in a long time, Erica felt alive. But the morning after, Erica was gripped with doubt. Could two broken people like them really make it work? She was still healing, still trying to figure out who she was outside of her career. And Samantha had her own baggage, her own scars from the past. Maybe it's too soon, Erica said, pulling away from Samantha's embrace one night. Samantha frowned, her fingers tracing the outline of Erica's collarbone. Too soon for what? For this. For us. Samantha was quiet for a moment, then sighed. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that being with you makes me feel like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. Erica swallowed hard. And what if I'm not ready for that? Samantha smiled softly, brushing a stray lock of hair from Erica's face. Then I'll wait. Erica's heart raced, not from illness this time, but from the feelings stirring inside her. Her mind screamed caution, reminding her of the fragile state she was in, but her heart, a heart that had spent years building walls around itself, was pulling her toward Samantha. Despite her best efforts to keep things casual, the connection they shared was too powerful to ignore. As the days passed, their friendship evolved into something more. They spent hours talking late into the night, discussing everything from Samantha's failed art shows to Erica's fears of never fully recovering. Samantha's optimism was contagious, and for the first time in years, Erica found herself looking at life with more hope than dread. But just as things seemed to be falling into place, an unexpected complication arose. One night, as Erica returned from a checkup with her cardiologist, she found Samantha frantically packing her things. What's going on? Erica asked, her voice tight with panic. Samantha's eyes were red, and her hands trembled as she shoved clothes into her bag. I've got a chance to exhibit my work in New York. It's a big deal, Erica. It's everything I've been waiting for. Erica's heart dropped. She should have been happy for Samantha. This was her dream. But the thought of losing her now, just as they were on the cusp of something real, felt like a punch to the gut. When do you leave? Samantha paused, staring at the floor. In 2 days. 2 days? Erica's mind whirled. How could everything change so fast? Just hours ago, they were curled up together on the couch, talking about taking Ava on a road trip to the mountains. Now Samantha was leaving. I'm sorry, Samantha whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. I didn't expect this opportunity, but I can't turn it down. Erica swallowed the lump in her throat and forced a smile. Of course you can't. You've worked so hard for this. You should go. But even as she said the words, Erica felt her heart breaking. Samantha hesitated, watching her with concern. Erica, I don't want to hurt you, but I can't stay just because we... Because we what? Erica snapped, surprising even herself with the intensity of her voice. Because we're falling for each other? Is that what you were going to say? Samantha froze, her face paling. She hadn't expected Erica to say it out loud, but the truth hung in the air between them, undeniable and electric. Erica, Samantha started, but Erica cut her off. I know you have to go, Sam, but you should know that I've fallen for you and I'm scared out of my mind. I've never let myself need someone like this before. Not even when Ava's father was in my life. Erica's voice cracked, and she blinked away the tears that threatened to spill. I'm scared that if you leave now, I'll never see you again. Samantha dropped the clothes in her hands and crossed the room in a few swift strides, pulling Erica into her arms. You think I don't feel the same way? She whispered into Erica's hair. You've changed me, Erica. I thought I was coming here to escape, to figure out my art, but I found something I didn't expect. I found you. Erica's breath hitched, and she leaned into Samantha's embrace, the warmth of her touch grounding her. So what do we do? Samantha pulled back, her hands cupping Erica's face. We don't have to decide anything right now. I can go to New York for the exhibit, but it doesn't mean we're over. You've been so focused on your recovery on Ava that I think we both forgot that love can happen even in the most unexpected places. The next 2 days were a whirlwind. Samantha prepared to leave, and Erica fought the urge to pull her back every time she saw her packing another bag. It felt like everything was happening too fast, and Erica wasn't sure if her heart, physically or emotionally, was ready for what was coming. The morning of Samantha's departure arrived. The taxi idled in the driveway, its engine humming softly. Erica stood on the porch, Ava in her arms, watching as Samantha loaded her final bag into the car. Samantha turned, looking up at Erica with a bittersweet smile. I guess this is it. Erica nodded, biting her lip to keep from breaking down. I guess so. But as Samantha started to walk toward the taxi, Erica felt a surge of panic. She couldn't let her go without saying what was in her heart. Wait! Erica called out, rushing down the steps. Samantha, wait! Samantha turned, surprise flickering in her eyes. Erica caught up to her, breathless. I love you, she said, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. I know it's crazy and fast, but I love you. And I don't want to lose you. Samantha's face softened, and she reached out to touch Erica's cheek. I love you too, she whispered. I've never been so sure of anything. Erica's heart swelled with emotion, and for the first time in months, it wasn't because of her illness. It was because of hope. So what do we do now? Samantha smiled. You let me go to New York. But I'll come back. Promise. And when I do, we'll figure it out. Erica nodded, her chest tight with emotion. Okay. Samantha leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to Erica's lips. It was sweet and tender, filled with unspoken promises. I'll be back before you know it. As the taxi pulled away, Erica stood on the porch, Ava cradled in her arms, watching until Samantha disappeared from sight. Her heart ached, but it was a different kind of ache now. One filled with the possibility of a future with the woman she loved. And in that moment, Erica knew that no matter what happened, her heart was strong enough to survive. Weeks passed, and Erica focused on her recovery. She threw herself into motherhood and healing, and though the distance between her and Samantha was painful, their nightly phone calls kept the spark alive. Every conversation made Erica feel closer to her, and she could feel the love growing stronger despite the miles between them. Then one evening, just as the sun began to set, there was a knock at the door. Erica opened it to find Samantha standing there, her suitcase at her feet and that familiar, mischievous grin on her face. I'm back, Samantha said, her eyes twinkling with joy. For good. Erica's heart soared, and without hesitation, she pulled Samantha into her arms, pressing her lips to hers in a kiss that tasted of all the things they had yet to experience together. I love you, Erica whispered against Samantha's lips, her voice full of certainty. And this time, I'm not letting you go. Samantha smiled, resting her forehead against Erica's. I wouldn't dream of it. Together, they stood on the porch, wrapped in each other's arms, as the last rays of sunlight bathed them in warmth, and the promise of their love lit up the horizon.